tell me, whichever.
Okay. Just trying to see, can I get into? Yeah, I'm just on a different. I'm just on my laptop here at the moment, and I haven't. They're not really set up on this one, Emma.
Okay, well, what I can
So
do
maybe
is
I
I
have
can
that
just
set up. So can you go
I can just
into ours by any? Yeah,
yeah, I'll just go into yours and we'll just have a
because
quick
I just needed to get in quickest way there this morning. So I'm on a
yeah,
different
there's no
machine.
problem.
I'll have this set up for the next day. If you were able to go into our Instagram or Facebook just publicly, you'll be able to
Yeah.
see. Yeah,
So REA Brophy.
yeah.
There we are. Okay, so do you want to run with me there and just see, just
Yeah,
tell me like
sure. Yeah.
where you think things are going well, where things you feel like gaps are, or like whatever your thoughts are.
Yeah, I suppose so. If you run down the page there, and if you're able to sort of scroll down there, I suppose. So, yeah. So, I suppose what I'm doing at the moment is, yeah. So that was one I put up there last night. Now, what I did was I just did a very quick reel from Instagram, and I shared that to Facebook. So, I suppose, look, you can already see there. I was only looking, and what I'm doing the most of the time is on the mobile device as opposed to a screen, a PC or a laptop like we're looking at there now.
Okay.
So what I'm finding is to save time, I'm setting it up on Instagram with whatever photos I have on my phone. So I don't know whether you can go in Instagram there as well, like yeah. And I'm sharing it to Facebook, but obviously the layout, whatever, is different between the two different platforms.
Yeah.
So I is a quicker way. So, like, do you have to do it on Instagram? Do you have to then separately go into Facebook and start off the whole thing again?
It depends what tools you're using. Some people have a scheduling tool. There's ones called
Well,
late.
I suppose you know the way sometimes Instagram is what's Instagram portrait or landscape, then Facebook it comes across in a different.
That's right. I usually end up doing from Instagram to Facebook purely because if I do it the other way around, it cuts out part of the picture or
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So if you go into our Instagram there, I think the Instagram probably looks a little bit better than our Facebook page. So is that REA, Brophy? Nothing coming up?
Yeah, no, just give me a second. Just my internet
Yeah,
is,
no problem.
as you can see, I have too many things open as well. Probably not
Yeah,
help.
no, I know that.
So here
Yeah,
we
so
are.
again, if you want to scroll down there, yeah. Yeah, so I think the Instagram looks a little bit prettier. So what I'm really doing on Instagram at the moment is, am I better doing reels as opposed to posts?
It's a mixture, really. I suppose
Yeah.
back in 2023, they were really focusing on video and focusing everyone to do the same. And because of TikTok, so they were trying to compete with TikTok.
Mm,
With what ended up happening, a lot of, I don't know, the Kardashians or whoever, because they're using these massively, these platforms, and that's where their businesses come from.
yes.
They actually requested that they go back to the normal posts as well. So now in
Okay.
2025, you could do a mixture. The reels do quite well, because people,
That's what I was finding that the reels were. I used to do posts, but
yeah,
then I started doing the reels. So yeah, so I'm more or less doing, even if it's two pictures or something, I'm more or less doing it as a reel.
yeah,
Now, maybe I shouldn't be. So I suppose that's the first question. I'm kind of doing reels more or less, and I'm just sharing the reel then to Facebook. I might download it and I might share it to LinkedIn then as well. That's
okay,
kind of what I'm doing. So I'm not really, I've stopped. It's kind of just evolved where I'm using Instagram nearly as the base.
okay,
I'm definitely putting everything that I'm putting on Instagram on Facebook, but I'm sharing I'm using Instagram nearly as the starting point. Whereas before would have used Facebook. I wasn't really used to Instagram at all, but I kind of just got
okay.
more used to that. So I'm doing a lot of it from the mobile, the phone,
Yeah,
as opposed to the PC or laptop, because say I might have pictures if I'm taking live,
yeah,
if I'm taking camera shots, they're going to be on the phone. Now I know I can get them to the PC, no problem. It's just I'm finding it easier to work on the stuff, edit and do all the rest on the phone, like as a
yeah.
edit the thing. Some I'm using CapCut as well for some of them, but mostly I'm kind of just using it as an Instagram reel where you can edit
Yeah.
the film more or less the same as you can in CapCut. So I've
Yeah.
kind of stopped using CapCut a lot of the time. So what I'm doing there is you can see I'm putting up, so it's a mixture of films, or for want of a better word, of properties. It's a mixture of me talking about various things. You can see clips of me going down. You can see me talking in the office. I'm doing various, just talking about bits. It's a mixture of stuff, but they're more or less reels. Like, yeah. Now I find when I put myself into it's not that I think for any shape or where I just cringe, but the ones where I'm talking sometimes do much better than other ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm using the REA templates there as much as I can for new to the market, sold, sale
Right.
agreed. And it's constantly just trying to think of ideas, I
Yes.
suppose, as to what to put up a bit differently. Now, like for example, today I might put up a shot of, the frosty or lovely frosty conditions coming
Yeah.
in and put some sign about, in the local area. I tried to give it a mix up. So it's a mix of various things at the moment. So I don't, in terms of content and putting up something, I could be completely wrong. I'm probably not too bad if I was to follow the textbook of what people say, do a bit of community, do a bit of general photographs of the area, do a bit of you talking, a general film of interest to people, properties. I think it's just maybe the format in the way I'm putting them up. Like you can see there already, there's black surrounding some things. It's probably, I'm just not following maybe the best
Yeah.
aesthetically way of doing it. And it's probably not transferring across to the other platforms. So what I do is I put up a reel on Instagram. I share it then to the stories straight away on
Okay.
Instagram. Then I share it to Facebook as a post. And then I go into Facebook and I share it then on the stories on Facebook. And then
Okay.
I usually go in and put it up on LinkedIn as well.
Okay. Great.
So that's kind of what I'm doing. I suppose we're not using sponsored or paid advertising there at all.
Okay.
So for certain posts, let's say if I wanted to boost them, I just kind of need to know how to do that in the best, most effective way. Um, I probably, yeah, if you have any advice from looking at all that, you probably might need to look at the Instagram page there and see what stands out to you is that I'm doing wrong,
Yeah.
or the best way of transferring them over to Facebook. I find that's just the quickest way. I can get them to Facebook very quickly as opposed to going into Facebook and doing something separate. Like, yeah, I can then download it and I can get it up onto LinkedIn quite quickly as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's kind of in a nutshell what I'm doing. So, yeah, I'm trying to put up stuff as much as possible. Um, I'm not using the highlights. Actually, I only realized that the other day. I don't use that highlights at all.
Yeah.
That was from well in the past when Brian's daughter had set up the Instagram page for us there as well. Like, yeah. So I think I can put it up on Instagram. I can put a link into the thing if I want. I've got better at doing the videos, but it's raw. I it could do with finesse. Think it could do with polishing.
Yeah.
And maybe the advertising part of it, maybe, as you said, maybe I know I'm using the REA Canva templates, which is fine, but as to how to use maybe the World Wide Web Canva templates would be good to get some steer around that as well, if ever I want something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't know whether that makes any sense,
No,
does
no, it
it?
does. Yeah, no, no, it's good to hear from you. Just exactly kind of what you need. And we can go through it all, obviously, piece by piece. The reels do tend to do quite well. The ones of you speaking or anybody speaking tend to do better. People gravitate towards kind of human connection.
I think so,
Um,
yeah. Like some of them are just, yeah, like the ones of the things, like say I can see that, like it's just obviously the formatting. I have the pictures in a certain way, and I don't know whether that's hindering. Like just the ordinary Joe Soap when they're looking at them, go, oh, she didn't put them in portrait, she didn't put them in landscape, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? I'm sure they don't. I'm sure they don't. But does it make a difference? You know what I mean? It's yeah.
Well, I
It's
suppose
just a
ideally it should fit the size of
yes,
whichever
yes,
one. The challenge is obviously is they're all different sizes. So from when you go to YouTube to
yeah,
Instagram
yeah,
to Facebook, and even if you have stories or whatever. I mean, when we were doing those videos for the
yeah.
video advertising that time, it was an absolute nightmare because we had shot the video in landscape and then we
I was only thinking about that the other day. Like, how did that work? Because that was obviously, I said, they obviously didn't shoot that in, or I said, could they? was there some magic way for them to transform that film into a different landscape version?
Oh, you can
There
do. You
wasn't,
can
obviously.
change like the sizing of photographs and videos, and obviously the guy that was doing the shooting at the time, he was able to do that. That was part of the remit that we needed the different
Of course.
sizes.
Yes, of
And you
course,
can
yeah.
see with On Brand or Canva, we have things
Mm.
sized so that you can
I've
do.
noticed that lately you do. You have it for stories, you have it for
Yeah,
Facebook, you have it for LinkedIn. And yes, but I suppose realistically on a day to day, if you're doing, say, if I was to say that Happy Halloween one down there,
yeah,
whatever, obviously, whatever I did that, but I don't know whether I did or I didn't. I might have just transferred that directly to Facebook at the time.
yeah,
I was just transferred that directly to Facebook as into LinkedIn. So it's obviously going to be different for them. It's just the quickest way of doing it. Like, yeah.
yeah.
And
But you
obviously,
can
if we have
change, you can
shots,
resize images in Canva.
okay. Oh, can
So
you? Okay.
I
Yeah.
tend to, for ease sake, instead of making, if I'm doing it for myself or for others, I tend to do it in the Canva size, primarily because it doesn't cut off. So if it goes to Facebook or it goes to something else, it's fine.
Mm, mm.
Whereas if I do the Facebook one or Instagram one, they tend to be too wide and things get cut out. So if
Okay.
I'm putting the same post on a couple of different platforms at the same time, I'll tend to use the Canva template.
Okay. Yeah. So
Um,
that, yeah. So I suppose that's the extra finesse. That's taking the extra
yeah,
bit to try and have it as professional
there's a
looking.
little bit of extra work
Yeah.
doing that, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
worth it because you can see there that the REA Brophy file there on this one is cut off. Um,
Exactly. Yeah.
so ideally it shouldn't
I
be.
should be, yes. And I've noticed that as well. So it's a few
It's
things.
just tidying
Like,
up things a little bit,
yeah,
really more so.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
do people care? I suppose yes and no. Mostly they are
yeah.
not thinking about sizing or whatever, but
No.
they
But
reckon.
it looks better, I suppose, if you can start off to do it better.
Yeah.
It's more professional. Like some things like that, like down, that was kind of a jokey thing, like being a state agent, they said it's great. Like things like that get an awful lot more views than
Yes.
actual serious things. Like,
I know. Well, that's very typical. Very
yeah,
typical. I remember a good few years ago now. I mean, I started doing this sort of training in 2009, and I remember I was training
right.
a lady, and what was she doing? Oh, she was very good at doing quilts, quilt covers and
Yes.
and
Yeah.
it was her own business and that and all this kind of thing. And anyway, obviously she put a lot of time and effort into it. And then one day she went for a run and her runners got dirty, and she just took a picture of the runners dirty and she put it up and she rang me and said, "Oh my God, I'm so insulted." She said, like, I put so much time and energy into all the posts, and the one where I didn't do anything, only take a picture of dirty runners, I get loads of traction on it. Like, and she just said, "This is bananas."
Yeah. That's exactly it. The few kind of now sort of jokey ones or whatever, yeah, get a lot more traction than and personal ones, like say personal one of something, someone achieving something or a birthday or
Yes,
something
yeah.
going on in the office. I would find get a lot more attraction than the proper business like stuff. Like
But what you
so
find
yeah,
is, though, Karen, is people do see the content. And
right.
I definitely think Facebook and Instagram fudge the numbers a bit. So if you know,
Interesting. I was just, yeah, yeah, I would have thought, yeah. So say for example in one of them, um, where if you go down, there was one particular one. How do you actually view? Do you have to go into view the insights?
you do not, I
Um,
can't see them because obviously I'm not in your account. Um,
oh, right, okay. But
so
like, yeah, now, so sometimes you can see the number of views. Well, in all of them, you can see the number of views.
I don't know.
Yeah, sorry, you're not in. I forgot that. Yeah, there, yeah. So,
Hang on now. Yeah, it just says 3 likes for that particular one. That's the only information that I'll see. Um,
that you can see. Okay. But like, say for example, what one are you in there now? Three. Yeah, that one there. Like there's one, see the one actually, if you go up to, sorry, if you go up a bit, Emma, sorry, if you go up, so this one here in the corner, see that terraced house
yeah,
in there. Yeah, so it's saying 12 likes. Now, when I look at that here, it's telling me 1.7, like 1,777
yeah.
views. Like, I don't think that's right.
Well, you'd be surprised, particularly video, they possibly are. Um, it probably makes sense that. like I don't know the house or what price it went for or whatever, but if it was like a reasonably priced property, there's potentially more interest in it in terms of affordability, and therefore more people are seeing it, and so on and so forth. So you find things like that, but video in general, yes, there will be higher views, and what you find is there's a lot of lurkers online, so people that see content
Okay.
but don't like or comment or engage, and it's very frustrating because as business owners, then you just don't know what's
Mm.
working or not
But
necessarily.
actually, interestingly, on that one, when you just look at, when I look at, say, the Instagram, like the homepage or whatever, it's coming up at 1,777 views. But when I go into the actual page behind it,
Hmm.
view insights, it's just telling me views 317, and it gives me a breakdown there of whatever. So
Yeah.
I don't know why the original front page, like the home page, your feed, let's say, is showing 1,777. But when you actually click view insights, it's telling me 317 views.
Yeah, we see what they do sometimes is, and again, this is all down like data. You can have as much data or figures as, but what does it mean? So you notice a lot of them where somebody might, so if I'm scrolling, I might have seen the video. That could be the 1,700. I've seen it,
Okay.
but I may not
Okay.
have clicked into it or watched it.
Yes. Okay.
So
Okay.
you probably
Okay.
find the
I
300 are people that have watched it. Now they might have only
watched
watched
it.
1 second of it, 2 seconds of it. And so when we did the advertising that time for REA, what we did was
Mm.
it actually gives you a breakdown of people, how many people watched the whole thing, how many watched 25%, 50%, 75, 90%, and 100%. And your most interested people will be the ones that obviously watch it 50% plus. Um,
Yes, and I think I can. Yes, so I can kind of see that because I remember at the time I was like, oh my God, I started to freak out because when I did that one, it was around the same time. I don't know whether you were aware of around the same sort of few days. There was Ray Cook Auctioneers in Dublin. A video of his went viral because there was a young guy, one of his agents, standing in front of a burnt out building in Dublin somewhere. Obviously, in a
right.
rough area of Dublin, and it went viral. And was shared over. Comedians were doing takes on it,
Oh,
and
really?
yeah, oh yeah, it went completely if you want to go in. Like it was a young guy standing in front of, here we have this house with loads of potential or whatever. And it was burnt out. Like so it was obviously a drug dealer's thing or something. It was burnt out. So it just went viral across. So I started to freak out and saying, oh my God, are people looking at this one standing in front? Now that one, because that one like was Kip might be too strong a word to use, but it was an old house, needed a lot of work. Um, and I said, are people doing the same? Is this being shared in places that you don't know about? Because it was just around the same few days that the other one was
Right,
going.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I said, what was it? Because it just seemed to be creeping up in numbers. Now, when you go into it, it is only saying 317.
Yes,
And
yeah.
then, second of all, I remember I was coming from somewhere and I really wasn't looking the best. And I said, God, if I knew this was going to get so many views, I said I would have done myself up a bit better. It's always it's always the way. But then you can't overthink those. I think you just have to
Yes.
put yourself into it and not be too. You can't be dressed up to the nines all the time.
Yeah.
But what I'm finding as well on some of them, okay, so you were saying the numbers aren't always a bit. What
No.
I'm finding on most recently on all of them is there's more views from non-followers than there is from followers.
Yeah, that
Hasn't
can be a thing as well, which is frustrating. But then you see it's inherently more challenging nowadays to get anyone to like anything. We've got fed up of
of
liking
clicking
things.
like, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah,
even I
yeah,
know myself, I follow a shed load of people for a number of reasons, and I've
yeah,
reached my limit. So I
yeah.
can't
We
actually like,
don't, yeah, we don't. No, I'm probably the same myself, and I don't really care about someone liking or saying great or something. I don't really want
yes.
that. I suppose once I know the people are looking at it,
Yeah.
that's all. It's the views I'd really be interested in, or am I right? What's the best thing to concentrate on to know to
Well, I
see
suppose
what's
you're
worth
looking
it?
at a couple of things. Like you obviously want to see that there's some views, and then it's a question of
Yes,
okay, but it is good that people have seen it because you don't know if I'm sitting there scrolling in the evening time and I ring my sister who I know is looking for a house and say, "Oh, I've just seen that Brophy Farrell crowd on Instagram. Go and have
yeah,
a look at their website. That looks like one that would
yeah.
suit you," or so things like that can happen. So
Yeah. Now, for example, there, I don't know if you just let that run again. Unfortunately, I don't want to be looking at myself there again. But the last, I always try and put in the REA in the whether it be a film like this, and a combination of film and pictures. I always try and put in the REA logo one at the very end. You know, the one
yes,
that you've seen there. But the one I'm using is actually becoming very obvious when I'm looking at it there. It's completely a different size than the rest of it. And it's actually looking sloppy there now. So that's one thing. If you just unfortunately let that run until the end, you'll see what I'm talking about. So I suppose then that's something that's come up then on a need. So it's gone, is it?
Yeah, no, I don't know. It'll come to it
You know,
there.
when I come to the end of it, the pictures are obviously all in a certain type of see, and then the professional photographs that we would have of the property, yeah, could be in a different size than me
Yes.
talking. I think I'm nearly coming to the end of rabbiting on here now. Like, so,
But if you,
yeah,
that's where if I can show you the resizing in Canva, that might
yeah.
actually
So
help.
there you go. So you see the pictures there,
Yeah.
and obviously the REA thing at the end. So yeah, you're right. So the resizing is obviously what I need to do then. Yeah, I can see it there by looking at it that it's quite obvious, and sometimes that's not as obvious when I'm looking at it on the mobile phone.
Yeah.
So I suppose it needs to be probably compatible across. So they're the photographs that I would have just taken from the photographs we had
Yeah.
of the property. They're obviously in a size that we would use for putting up and aft in my home. And then you can see the REA thing at the end there is.
Yes. Yeah.
So the film is in that sort of portrait mode, but the photographs are not. So the resizing is something I would need, Emma, then, yeah, to
Yeah.
know
Well,
how to
that's
do
fine.
that.
Yeah, we can do
Yeah,
that. And once
yeah,
you, like I find with these things, to be honest, Karen, is that, once you get into a rhythm, you're shown how to do it. And then, the way the first
yeah,
few times it takes a bit longer, and then you just get into a rhythm and
yeah.
you get it done quite
You
quickly.
get it done. Yeah.
I think you'll find AI very helpful in terms of the text and helping you put it together. And I suppose that side can be
Yeah,
quicker.
again as well. Yeah. Now some of them, yeah, I started a bit put more effort into the text, but it can take a while. Yeah, it can
Yes, that's the
take a while.
unfortunate side. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
it
not
can
like a
take a while.
personal one where, you're like, oh, I've just been shopping or I don't know, something like that. You literally have to write down the details of the house
Yeah.
or, whatever it may
Yeah, and
be.
I used to put very scant details down because of the amount of time it's taking. And then the emojis, I know in the REA, whoever, yeah, maybe at one stage you were involved in them, and the REA when they always have, the beds, the emojis for whatever. I
Yeah.
find that very hard. I find that hard to do, so I kind of don't do it. Like, yeah, I
But
just kind of
that's
might
where
put,
AI is really helpful because, again, like I said to you
okay,
last night, that is actually hard to do, and
yes,
it's very frustrating because they can often disappear on you. And I find it glitchy on Facebook on my desktop if I'm doing it on my phone. Sometimes I get the whole thing done and I manage to delete it, or I hit return and the whole thing disappears, or whatever the case might be. Or like it's
yeah,
fine, but it could take a half an hour to do
it could,
one post that really all you're doing is putting up the main details. So yeah, so if you
yeah,
have details, for example, you can have the main template of what you want to say, and say, for example, if you had already put it into after or wherever, or details of a house, you can just throw it in any which way or form into
mm.
ChatGPT, whichever, and it
Oh, right, okay, right, okay, I bet you to do that. And then, like on sort of practicalities of something, if I type whatever there into Instagram, I'm doing the rule, and I type all that out, what we're talking about. Um, See, I can send that directly to Facebook without having to type it out again.
yes, yeah,
But
exactly,
from Facebook, for some reason, so it's in Facebook, so I can copy it to put it into LinkedIn. Then, for example, I
yeah.
can copy directly from. I can just hit whatever and it copies. I can select it and copy and paste into LinkedIn, but I can't copy the text from Instagram. For some, it just won't let me.
You have to go into edit mode, and then
Right.
it won't copy and paste. It
I've already
used
put
to.
up the reel on Instagram. Usually I put it up, then I share it to Facebook, and then I go into LinkedIn. But I can only copy and paste the text from Facebook to paste it into LinkedIn, into the LinkedIn post. I don't seem to be able to copy and paste from the post up on Instagram.
But that's what I'm saying. You have to go into
You have to
edit.
go into edit.
And
Okay.
when you go into
Okay.
edit, then it'll allow you to do it. But
Okay.
what I
So
tend
you
to
have
do,
to go in as if you're editing the post again.
yeah, and which is a
Yeah.
bit of a pain, and because you used to be
Yes.
able to copy and paste it, but now you can't. So you have to go
Okay.
into
Okay. So
the edit function.
that's not me. That's a thing. That's yeah.
Yeah, I know it's a thing because it's very frustrating because I used to always do that, and I was like, God damn.
Yes.
And yeah, so you go into the edit function, but you have to be careful that you don't inadvertently delete it. That's the only thing.
Yeah, yeah, and that's why, yes. Okay, so that's not me. That is
Oh
a
no, no, it
thing.
absolutely is a thing because everyone finds
Yeah.
the same, and
Okay,
these
and
are
then in Instagram as well. Am I right in saying you've put up your reel? It's live on the. on whatever, and I want to go back in and make a change to the video, add in another photograph or whatever, I can't really.
Yes. Yeah. Very.
Is that
And they
right?
used to allow it. And then they
Okay.
stopped. And it's
Okay.
very
Okay.
frustrating for creators because, things you could do last week, you can't do this week, and vice
Okay.
versa.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you used to be, and
Yeah.
again, you can't do that now. So that's a bit frustrating. But um,
Okay. Yeah.
so sometimes
Okay.
what you
So basically, so you can see, so there's stuff up on Instagram and Facebook. I'm not starting from completely. I'm not
no, no,
starting
no,
from
it's great.
completely
No,
nothing.
it's all, look, it's an iterative process. You're developing
Yeah.
it.
I'm making videos. I can do them. I'm putting stuff up now, videos
Yeah.
in a very raw format. I'm putting them up. I can, learning all the time how to do the reels and editing it just by figuring out. I haven't done any with voiceovers yet, but I think I
Yeah.
know how you can do that. So I suppose there's stuff I'm practicing. It's just really it's to polish it, it's to finesse it, it's anything that can make me quicker, like you said,
Yeah.
with the things between sharing across the different platforms and the page side of it. If we decide to do that, which I'm sure we
Yeah.
will on and off, that I don't that's to me the paid side of it is I think is where people are probably where a digital like I said, I think with a bit of practice and time, I think any of us, including myself, can probably put up as much is put up as good comment or content, Karen, stock properly, as good as content as a digital creator is
Oh, yeah,
doing. It's
100%.
just that it's just that they're probably better at doing the paid side of it, targeting all that. That's where I wouldn't
But you
trust
can
myself.
learn it as well, Karen. I mean, it's not rocket
Yeah,
science. It's like everything. It's just
yeah.
it looks,
Like
kind
a
of
minefield. Yeah, it looks like a minefield.
when you
So
go
it's the
into.
best how to set up our systems that we could do that with a little bit of practice. And as you said, with the Canva, it's resizing all the rest. The content could be as good as maybe someone paying someone to do it for you. It's to try and get it to the biggest audience we can from time to time. So it's to learn a little bit more about that side of it, Emma. As you said, the resizing there, and the AI, obviously.
Yeah.
I need to be more open to being open about AI as well.
We I have embraced it now, I have to say, but I suppose I
Yeah,
like new things and I like IT, well, online. So I've always been the first to try different things and whatever. And to me, if
yeah,
it's quicker and it can help you,
yeah,
um,
absolutely. Yeah,
there's certain
absolutely.
things
No,
you wouldn't
yeah,
do where, like for
yeah.
example, like there's some posts I put up that I would have to go back and read back through it because inadvertently it has misspelt or it looks
Yes, yes. Or
gobbledygook.
it reeks of AI, as I do
Yeah,
said.
yeah.
So,
So
but
you
you,
have to
but
kind
yeah,
of adapt it
yeah.
a little bit, and that it looks like it.
But that's fine. And I suppose you are kind of half answered the question. The thing that I was struggling with lately is like, can someone just tell me what's the AI website to use? Like what AI website should be using? So
Yeah.
you're saying ChatGPT
Well,
is
I've
maybe just
used a good few of them, and
think,
even there's a new one came out. Well, not a new one came out, but they upgraded the one significantly. You might have seen it in the news where Google have one, and it's Gemini 3. It just came out there about 2 days ago, and they were all, because obviously I'm following loads of influencers in this
you're
space.
into, yes, because you're
And
interested in that. Yeah.
they were raving about it. So I went online yesterday to try out something. I watched a video of somebody doing something, and I said, "Oh, Jeepers, this is great." So I went on to do it on this amazing platform. They were all saying is, and it didn't like it did the. So what it did was it did code, but I would have had to
Okay.
go to like a designer to do the rest of it because I don't do
Oh,
coding.
yeah, you're not a computer programmer kind of
So I'm not a
coder.
computer programmer, so I was like, okay, well, it does it. And then Claude is another one, and Claude did the same. I was like, brilliant, Claude is going to be the thing I'm going to do. And I went in.
Yes.
Now, I did do, like, if I did a post, I could do it there as well. It was like, they'll all do
Mm,
that. I mean, that's
mm.
pretty simplistic. But when I wanted
Yes.
something a little bit more complicated, it was a bit of a nightmare now. And I was
Okay.
saying, what are they all talking about? But when I went back then and looked at the video again, I realized one of the guys said at the end of the video, well, actually, before we started this demonstration, we had already plugged in certain things into the system. So therefore, when
Okay.
they hit
Okay.
certain buttons, it did it automatically. Whereas mine, it was throwing up error messages, and I was like, why is this happening? Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah, so I've
This isn't
played.
helping me.
Yeah, I
Like,
know this is like frustrating. So
yeah.
I've tried a
Yeah.
good few of them now, Perplexity, a good few of them, and
Okay.
I've ended up coming back to ChatGPT.
Yeah, which is okay. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, yeah,
So
that's
whether
yeah,
it's a case of it's the first one I used and I just got more familiar with it, but even in case of what it does, it's been the most consistent one for me and what I
okay.
do.
Well,
Um,
no, well, that's good feedback. That's good to know because then you're kind of there. Okay, well, look, let's start off and just use that for the moment.
yeah,
Like, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Look, some of them
yeah.
might
So I think,
change in the next year, you know
of
yourself.
course, yeah,
But
of course, like,
but
yeah,
like you'll
yeah,
find that those platforms they all run along the same lines. So it's like, you know, if you use social media in general, like as you can see when you're doing your own posting, like you'll use more or less the same format on each
yeah.
platform,
You
but you
do exactly. You
yeah,
do. Yeah,
for
yeah,
certain ones,
yeah,
but they're
yeah.
probably not over, you know, it's not huge differences.
No, no,
Um,
no. Yeah.
I've so far I'm finding it the same with the AI, and just a bit
Okay.
frustrating that there's so much of it, and
Yeah.
so many people try this, try. And you're like, dear God,
Yes,
like,
that's why that would put me off. Me that does put me off.
yeah,
It's just it's too overwhelming.
yeah,
You want somewhere that you can just go, okay, show me one place where I can go and try it there,
exactly,
learn it,
yeah,
or learn it for want of a better expression. Yeah. And the other thing, Emma, just looking
yeah,
bits, sometimes I don't it might come up at some stage, it depends what the others
yeah,
want as well. It's to put text the best sort of most effective, easier, aesthetically looking on the eyes as well, text in reels and sort of
okay, yeah.
social media
I
posts
need to
as
have to
well.
double check those now because I haven't done those
Oh yeah,
for
look,
two
that
or three
they're only
months.
by the bindings. Like
No, no,
there's
no,
a
that's
mind.
fine because it's actually important because 80% of
Yeah,
people actually read. They don't actually listen to what you say because
I
people
know.
are,
Like I'm looking at one there just as we're looking there. That one they're thinking of selling this autumn. Now I put that in. Does
yeah,
it look the best? Maybe not. So it's maybe if there's a more consistent way
yeah. I'll double check
of doing.
because I was using CapCut myself and originally, again, I've used so many of these iterations because as I said, I've been
Yeah,
doing this since
yeah,
2009 and when originally Facebook was doing,
yes.
oh my God, it just gave the most absolute rubbish is what came back.
Oh, this is the captions, is it? Like
Captions,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Now,
The
yeah. Now I
text,
haven't.
yeah,
Yeah, I
sorry,
suppose I'm not using captions as such, but say the
oh,
best way
the
of
text is easy enough. Yeah, we can show you that. That's
is
fine.
it?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. No, I think look, there's all different. I think once you can read or whatever. Yeah, should we be using captions? I
you
suppose that
should
is
be.
another.
Yeah, but let me
Okay,
just double check which one is the easiest because
okay. Yeah.
it's
So
been
again, yeah,
a month since I
if
was
you
doing
had
it.
yeah if you had a steer on the captions,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
because some
I know myself. A lot of the time, I don't turn it on, so I'm just looking at it too. I know
yeah,
myself.
but
Yeah, you're
some of the captions are really laborious because I remember when they started first and I declined and he actually has a toy store here in Nina where I'm from and he was great at doing live streams and you know anyway. But one day he did a 10-minute video himself, or no, myself and his wife were putting in the captions and we had to
right.
retype everything. And we were like, because he did a 10-minute video. Oh my God. It took
You
us
were there never
forever.
again, never again
We
again.
warned him after that. 3 minutes max, you're not talking for any longer because we can't stand here. You know, because
No,
Facebook threw
and
back
do that.
absolute
Yeah.
rubbish. I mean,
Right. Okay.
it could have been in
Yeah. Yeah.
Chinese or something.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but
So
there
that
are ones that
whether
do
that
actually
gives it's
get
just a general, yeah, flair. I know you have to tailor for the other office as well, but if it's anything to really make it easier to do it once across the, I suppose,
yeah,
the platforms that we use. As you said, a bit more consistency with the photographs, the resizing. Yes, I
yeah,
definitely need, and the paid side of it. Yeah,
yeah,
the AI, like what you said, the AI and the Canva templates. I think even if you got to grips with all of that, I think it'd be quite useful.
yeah. Brilliant. Now, this thing is actually going to finish up by itself there in
That's
about
okay.
30
Yeah,
seconds.
yeah,
But,
that's
you
okay.
know,
Yeah,
that's great. So
yes.
I've got a good sense of kind of, because
Okay,
each
great,
other office will be
great,
pretty much the same. I'll figure out the times and
perfect, perfect.
Wednesday and
Yeah,
I'll come back to you. Is that okay?
perfect, Emma. That's perfect.
Brilliant.
Okay, listen, thanks
Thanks
so
so much,
much for your
Karen.
help. Okay,
Thank
no
you.
problem. No
Bye.
problem.
Bye.
Enjoy
Bye.
the
Bye.
weekend.
You
Bye,
too.
bye,
Bye.
bye,
Bye.
bye.